Less of me, more of you. Say what you want me to say. Humble me. Say what you want me to say. I know I've always been different. I know I'm not like the rest. Humble me. Humble me. Speak, Lord. Say what you want me to say. Listen to the voice within. Listen to your voice within. It's guiding you, directing you. Say what you want me to say. It's guiding you, directing you. Listen to the voice within. Speak, Lord. Say what you want me to say. Speak, Lord. Say what you want me to say. Listen to the voice within. Listen to that voice within. It's guiding you, directing you. Oh, speak, Lord. Say what you want me to say. Oh, 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 oh. I know I've always been different. I know I'm not like the rest. Speak, Lord. Speak, Lord. Speak, Lord. This message is not necessarily for everyone, because everyone is not going to receive it, and I already know that. God deals with me in the morning more than any other time. Maybe it's because that's when my spirit is the clearest. I haven't smoked anything. I've literally been fasting in my sleep for however many hours I've been asleep. So when he deals with me, it's usually in the morning. Not to say that I don't pray throughout the day, because I do. Not to say I don't have communication with God throughout the day, because I do. But for some reason, it's in the morning. I usually go through my my Facebook memories, because I'm always curious about what I was thinking or experiencing last year or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, what my thought pattern was. This morning I wasn't going to do a video. I was just going to do, one of those little writing posts. But then I heard God say, do a live. So At this moment, I just ask God to speak through me so it's less of me and more of you. Say what you want me to say. So I say everything that you want me to say and not what I think you want me to say. Let those who have ears to hear, hear, a mind to understand, understand, and the spiritual understanding and wisdom to interpret. For all those who is not for it, then let them just go by. But for those who is meant for it, allow them to hear what it is that you have in your soul. We walked into 2020 thinking it was going to be a whole different experience. We celebrated on December 31st, 2019, thinking that 2020 was going to be the most fabulous, greatest, awesome, amazing year. We just had all. For many people, 2020 has not led up to the vision that we perceived on December 31st. A lot of people have lost businesses, they've lost loved ones, their faith is at an all-time low. A lot of things, viruses going through the atmosphere, just depression, suicide. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody had that kind of 2020 vision. We didn't see that. We didn't see it coming. For some people, the seasons were worse than for other people. There were some people whose season was really, really, really rough. Today, God told me to do a live. I'm not looking at the camera because I don't want to see or try to figure out how many people are viewing me right now, because that's not what it's about. He sent me here to say something. A lot of you have lost loved ones, or you've lost items, personal things that you held close to your heart. And that may have caused you to doubt God, or maybe even doubt the promises that you believed that He spoke to you years ago. Because you don't see it. Because instead of seeing what you visualized and prayed for, you saw the complete opposite. It's been a rough season for a lot of people. And some people are still going through rough seasons. Some people have been going through rough seasons for years, like myself. I've been going through rough seasons. I've been in that wilderness for a long time. And it ain't always pretty in the wilderness. You go through stuff. But you gotta learn. You're in the wilderness. You're in those rough seasons for as long as you need to be, until you learn what it is that you're supposed to learn. Some people are quick learners. And so they go through their wilderness experiences and they go through them quick. They get it, they understand, they make the changes, the necessary changes, they're out of that test, and they're on to the next level. But not everybody learns at the same speed. Some people have to go through the same test over and over again, kind of like taking the same math class, because you're trying to get at least a C. But all you keep coming up with is D's, because somewhere you're not catching the lesson. So God pushed you back through it. Maybe a different phase, maybe a different situation, different circumstance, but the same test, because you didn't get it. Everybody don't learn at the same speed. But whatever promises that He gave you before you went into the wilderness, whatever promises that He put in your heart before you started the journey, that ain't changed. God is not a man that He should lie. He don't change. He ain't like man. Man will be your friend today and your enemy tomorrow. But That's not God. That's not God. Whatever promises that He gave you before you started the wilderness, before those tough seasons began, before you start experiencing the losses of loved ones or property or things or whatever it is that you hold dear to you, before you started that, God gave you a vision or a dream or a promise or whatever it was that you've been holding on to. And there's some of you who've been holding on a long time. You've been holding on so long. You've been holding on so long. You're ready to give up because you've just been holding on so long and ain't nothing changed. It's been a rough season for you. Maybe health wise, or like I said, financially, or loss of a loved one, or whatever it is. It's been a season. But you got to get through this season. You got to get through this wilderness. You got to get through these tests. You have to pass through this so that you can get to the next level where you're supposed to be. And when you get through the wilderness, when you get through the test, when you get through your tough seasons, when you figure a way to get past, when you put the gun down, you put the drugs down, you put the pills down, when you stop thinking about how you're going to end this life and you try to figure out how am I going to get through the test. When you get through that tough season, when you figure out how am I going to rebuild, I done lost the business that I've been working on, building for 10 years, how am I going to rebuild? I've been going from shelter to shelter to shelter to shelter. How am I going to get past this season? How am I going to get there? I done lost this job. I've been working for this company for, all this time, and then they laid me off at a time when I need them the most. How am I going to get through this season? You got to get through the season. You got to get through the test. You got to get through the wilderness. You got to go through it. But whatever promises God gave you before you went into it, it's still coming. Whatever it is that God promised you is still coming. Like a caterpillar, I put up a post about a caterpillar. A caterpillar is so ugly when you see it, those slimy, smelly. You wouldn't see nothing beautiful coming out of that caterpillar. There is no way you could see anything beautiful about this ugly little caterpillar. But you don't know the changes that are going on the inside. You don't know the wilderness or the wilderness experiences or the transformations or the medical things, the things that are happening inside that caterpillar. You can't see it. All you can see is how ugly it is on the outside. All some people see is the trials and tribulations you've gone through. All some people see is your downfalls and your falls and how many times you scraped your knees, kind of like the caterpillar did. But they don't know what's going on the inside. They don't know what God is doing. They don't understand why you had to go this way instead of that way. Why you had to experience this pain instead of that. They don't understand because they can't see what's going on the inside. They can't see what God is doing on the inside. They don't understand the plan or the journey for your life. They can't see that. Just like the caterpillar. But give it some time. Because just like the caterpillar, at the right time, just like the rising of the sun, at the right time, the caterpillar changes and everything all the work that's been going on the inside that you never were able to see, all of a sudden becomes freaking clear. And then you see the butterfly with all its beautiful flowers and colors, and you're like, wow, all that was inside of that ugly caterpillar? Right now, people may only see the trials and tribulations that you're going through. For some of you, you're coming out of probably the worst seasons. Like I feel like I've been in the worst seasons. But I understand. I cry. It's hard sometimes. But I understand. A lot of people can't understand what's going on because all they see is what's on the outside. They don't know what's going on the inside. but at the right time and not a second before. All the promises that God gave you before you went into the wilderness, all the promises that God gave you before you went into that season, they're coming to pass. They are coming to pass. Whether it comes to pass through you or if it comes to pass through your seed, it's coming to pass. Whether you experience all the things that you heard God say in this lifetime yourself, visually you see it. If not you, your children will. Because it will pass down, you know, it will evolve. It will, whatever God promised is coming to pass. It's funny that God will give me this word on September 1st. I think about all the September 1st I have crossed through. And I think about the experiences that I had before I got to September 1st. A lot of them were rough seasons. There were times I just wanted to not even deal with this craziness because it's just like I'm tired. I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired. But then I want to hear the Holy Spirit say, you come too far to give up. Every sacrifice that you've made, every trial and tribulation that you've overcome, every mountain that you've jumped over, every giant that you kicked, everything is worthless if you quit. Then you'll have to go back to the wilderness all over again because you didn't learn the most important lesson. And the most important lesson is keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your faith in God, no matter what it looks like. Because God is doing things on the inside of you that other people can't see. He's taking you down journeys and ways and rivers and valleys that other people can't understand. But it's not for them to understand because it's not their journey. It's not their wilderness. It's not their lessons. So they're not going to understand. In fact, they need to stop worrying about your lessons and concentrate on their own lessons and their own wilderness experience and why they're here. Instead of looking at you and pointing fingers at you and judging you, they should be looking at themselves. So they don't have to keep repeating the same lessons so they can pass the test. I've been over this journey a long time. And a lot of people be like, Patricia, why is all of this about you? I have people in my family even say this to me. Why everything got to be about you? Because I'm building a brand. And anybody who doesn't understand about building a brand, they're not going to understand the journey. Because when I leave here, I'm leaving stuff. God is orchestrating it so that my pain won't be in vain. The little girl who went through all that craziness, she's doing things. God is doing things through her so that she can help other people along the way as she's on her path because God is going to give her double for everything that she went through. Every tear she cried, when you come through the worst seasons of your life. Some people, when they get to the worst seasons of, when they get through the worst seasons of their life, that's when they're ready to give up and throw in a towel and just say, I can't do this no more. I can't go through this no more. But that's when you need to stand still. Because when you come through the worst season of your life, if you don't quit, the best season of your life is right there. But most people will never see that because they don't have the faith to understand the spiritual journey or the lessons of why they were in that tough season to begin with. Every promise that God made to you is coming to pass. But it's not on your timetable. because you got lessons that you got to finish learning and understanding. He can't use you up here if you haven't learned everything here. That's like being in school. You can't jump from kindergarten to fifth grade. You got to learn everything that those other classes were going to teach you so you could be ready for the fifth grade. Kindergarten, you don't even know how to read. How you going to go from kindergarten to fifth grade and you don't even know how to read? You don't even know how to add. You don't know how to do none of that. You got to go through those different classes and those different lessons so that God can use you for the ultimate purpose of why He even sent you to earth. You're not here just because you just came through your mama's womb. It ain't. It's more than that. And if you don't understand that, then that's probably why another reason why you're still in the wilderness, because you ain't got there yet. You're still growing. I don't understand it all. I don't got it all, but God wakes me up in the morning and He speaks to me. He speaks to me through symbols and through words, through music, and through that still voice within, that small voice within, that Holy Spirit, that God that's inside of you, whatever you want to call it, that tells you, no, don't go to the left, go to the right. No, don't deal with that person, because that person's not good. Keep walking, because if you keep walking, what you want is going to be right there, that Holy Spirit, that Spirit within. That internal wisdom, that intuition, that inner guide, that Holy Spirit, that whatever you want to call it. God speaks to me. And don't ask me why He chooses me. I don't know. I ain't perfect. I'm proud of Him. If perfect was a picture, I wouldn't be nowhere around. But He uses me anyway. So there's somebody or somebodies that needed this message because you've come through the worst season of your life. 2020 ain't got shit on what you went through in 2019. He can't even compare to what you went through in 2018. You done came through some of the roughest seasons of your life. You done been homeless. You done been jobless. You done been talked about. Your family done turned their back on you. You done dabbled in drugs. You done did a couple crimes. You done went through some stuff. You done tried to commit suicide when didn't nobody even know that was even a thought in your mind. You done went through some stuff. Somebody right now who needs this. You done got so fixated on the freaking goal that you can't even. It's like it's starting to drive you freaking crazy because you're not even understanding the lesson or the assignment. There's somebody or somebodies that this message is for. God said, why you doubting me? Yeah, the enemy wants you to believe that I'm not going to come through for you. The enemy wants to throw every obstacle in your way to make you doubt me. But God said, my sheep know my voice. You know me. You know when I'm speaking to you. You know when I'm talking to you. And you know the promises that I've given you. Do not doubt me just because you experience darkness. Do not doubt me just because the wilderness experience is longer than you thought it would be. Don't doubt me just because you failed the test a couple of times and you got to retake the class. Don't doubt me just because of hardships and trials and tribulations and losses and all those things. Don't doubt me because of that. I'm not a man that I should lie. What I promised you is going to come to pass, and it's going to be more than what you lost. God said double. Double for your trouble. But you got to get through it. September 1st, God gave me this message. And I don't know if this message is really even just for me. I don't know. All I do is I'm just being obedient. So for all those who have ears to hear, let them hear. For anyone that is for, let them receive it. And if you feel like it's not for you, this message is not for you. This is not This, this is their truth talking crazy and all that kind of stuff. Then move on. There's a whole bunch of other profiles on Facebook. But if this message is for you, you gonna know it because you ain't gonna be able to do nothing but listen, even though all you're seeing is the side of my face. Because it's not about looks. It's deeper than that. I pray that everyone has a good morning. Change is coming, and it's gonna be good. The season, there's a shift happening. A shift is happening, but it's not gonna be that same kind of tough and rough shift from last season. Blessings are coming now. There's going to be a shift, and it's a positive shift because God has heard the cries of His people, and He knows that your wilderness experience has been hard. But He said He'll never give you more than what you can handle. A shift is coming. All you got to do is believe it and receive it and keep walking. And for all the pain and suffering and loss and things that you went through in the last season, God said He's going to make up for it. And it's going to be double. Doesn't mean you'll forget. Doesn't mean you'll forget the people that passed away this year. Doesn't mean you forget the trial and tribulation. Doesn't mean you're going to forget. He just promised that He will give, like Job. He's going to restore. He's going to give back to you. And it's going to be more than what you gave. Just don't lose your faith. People might laugh at you. People might talk about you. Family might turn their back on you. All that kind of stuff. But what's most important is your relationship with God. And that transformation that's happening on the inside of you that people can't see. Don't worry about the people. They need to worry about their own transformations so they can get out the wilderness and spread their wings like the butterfly. Don't worry about them. Just keep your faith. That's the message that God wanted me to give to all those who receive it. There's a shift coming. But this time the shift is going to be good. It's a positive shift. It's a positive energy. It's going to help push all this dark energy away. The devil can only play around for so long, and then he has to let go, and he has to let God do His thing. So I don't know. I just know that there's a shift coming, and the shift is coming with blessings to bless all those who have had the hardest seasons of their life. I hope you have a wonderful day today.